Yeah, well, let me give you a couple of reasons. I think, firstly, of course, the idea that there is, everything is just atoms and particles in motion breaks down the moment it comes to anything meaningful. So let me tell you a story to illustrate this, and then we can talk particularly about the human value kind of piece. So, one of my colleagues was doing a university mission recently at I forget which university it was. Anyway, he got talking to a student there who said to my friend, he said, I'm not really into God, thinking that would be the end of it. To which my friend Michael then went, oh, okay, that's interesting. What are you into? And so this guy said, I'm into love. I'm into love. So then my friend said, okay, interesting. What do you mean by love? And this guy hadn't really thought about it. He went, I don't really know. So Michael said, well, you're an atheist, right? And this guy went, yeah, I am. He went, okay, well, let me give you a definition based upon your atheism. Would you be happy with the definition that love is a chemical reaction, caused by the motion of atoms in our brains, designed to trick us into pair bonding with somebody so we can pass our DNA on to the next generation? And the guy looked a bit horrified at this and went, well, no, I'm not happy with that at all. And that then, of course, opened up into an amazing conversation, because he'd never connected his I don't believe in God with actually that has some implications for the things I care about. I have lots of similar conversations around. One of the things I talk on a lot at universities, I'm often asked to speak on, is the whole issue of human rights. And, the way that usually will go is I'll take whatever stories happen in the news that week where there's been some human rights abuse, whether it's Harvey Weinstein, whether it's the Uyghurs in China. I mean, every day, tragically, because we live in a broken world, there is something. And then you just unpick the story a little bit, and then you basically say to the audience, well, what's actually wrong with this? Because if we are just atoms in motion, then we don't have value and dignity. We just are. We're just a cleverly evolved primate, but there's nothing inherently valuable about us. And almost without fail, people push back. They don't like to hear that idea. And then I'll always just ground that then I always will take them to Genesis and say, well, look, at the end of the day, we need a foundation for human rights. And Genesis 1, with the teaching that human beings bear value and dignity because we have the image of God, which means it doesn't matter whether you're a male, female, black, white, straight, gay, it doesn't matter anything. You can have all that baggage. Nothing matters, because it's the fact that we are created in God's image means we have value and dignity. And if you can think of an alternative foundation, I'm happy to discuss it. And there never is one. And what's interesting is there are so many atheists who would agree with you. Tom Holland, you've mentioned. Luc Ferry, who is a very committed French atheist. His book, A Brief History of Thought, he says atheists need to be profoundly grateful to Christianity for the insight that human beings have value and dignity irrespective of their backgrounds. In the ancient world, that was not taken as a given. It was obvious that if you were a slave or a woman or a child or low class, then you had less value than somebody who was rich and powerful and male and whatever. He said we've forgotten where that came from. That insight didn't come from nowhere.